Hey, it's John from Sixth Place Off-Road, and this is a quick run through on how to build a Coastal Offroad bumper for a 3rd gen Tacoma. All the work you see today was done at Over the Top Racks, Kelowna B.C. So first step is going to be to cut the factory bumper. This is definitely one of those measure twice situations. Coastal does supply good instructions with this, but take your time. Err on the side of caution. We can always sand off a little more in the future if we need. You'll see I didn't show removing the rebar or pushing that coolant line back, as those are quite simple tasks and they're explained very well in the instructions. So here we have the first plate bolted on. You want to get this kind of in the middle of the slots to give you as much adjustment in the future as possible. Next we have the sides with the shackle rings already welded, the winch plate mounted as well. Coastal's been kind enough to do this part in one piece, so those 4 transitions there used to be 4 separate pieces. They've bent them now on the brake press, so it is a lot simpler. You will need a B.C clamp to get those to fit nice, in my experience. You're gonna need to get it back on the vehicle at this point, so we're gonna bolt it up here. They don't have to be torqued, but they do need to be snugged as to where they're going to sit in the future. Next, we're gonna assemble the wings. This is best done on a bench. A couple of magnets will really help you out here. Next is mounting that wing. Be patient, this will take some time to get it lined up nicely. Next, we're going to do the lower parts of the wing here. Take your time with these as well. Move them around, see where they look best. Sometimes where they look best will have a gap, things like that. We can fill that with weld, no problem. Make it look right. Next, we move on to the driver's side. The importance with this is to make sure that both sides look the same. So if we have some overhang on one side, let's match it on the other. Great way to do this is to follow body lines. Do keep in mind that no truck is perfect and nothing is square. Once we have those wings built, we can remove the bumper from the truck. This is definitely a 2-person job. If you notice here, I do not have the lower brackets welded on. That's because with this truck, everything was sitting a little bit off, so I'm gonna wait until it's welded together. Then I can shift it around, get those plates on where they need to be. When it comes to welding, you're gonna wanna move around the piece so that you're not putting too much heat into one area, causing distortion. I recommend rotating the bumper when needed for the best or most comfortable welding positions. If you notice I do not have the light mounts in yet, you are correct. That is another thing I generally leave until the end. Now it's on to the sanding process. This is a very personal preference process. Some guys will hit it for about 3 seconds, throw paint on it, done. For us, we like to, well, we're perfectionists, so we spend a lot of time at this process, getting everything perfect. I'll be completely honest, James and Megan do pretty much all of that work. I just stand back and look pretty. As you can see, the lower mounts are on now. We did put the bumper back on, test fit it, shifted it around, got those to where they needed to be. Now they are mounted and welded. You may have also noticed that the bull bar or push bar is not mounted. I like to leave this to the last step once the bumper is basically ready for powder. The reason I do this is I find we can grind those transitions nicely, have everything looking perfect, so that when we weld that bar on, it's nice and smooth. So as you can see here, these edges, these transitions are nice and smooth, nice, perfect rounded radius. Again, you don't have to get it to this point if you don't want to. For us, we want to. Be warned, it is hours of work to get it to look this nice. So this is a quick overview of how to build a Coastal Offroad bumper. If you're looking for maybe a little more detail, step by step, comment below, let me know. We'll film one of those for you guys. Let me know what vehicles you're interested in as well. That way we know whether you want a Tacoma, Ram, 4Runner, Colorado. Yeah, let us know. We'll make that work. So a quick little trick here is the soapstone. So I've sanded that down to a nice sharp edge. Then you can just lay it on that wing, rotate it around, and that's going to give you the exact line you need to cut. What I've done is place that bar on a 2x6 because that's the height I wanted, and I just kicked it out just a hair to give us that angle that I needed. For reference, this bull bar is going to sit just in front of the grill. It's about as close as you can get without touching, so I would recommend, if you're not sure, to kick the angle out a little bit or move that whole bar just to the edge. Now that the bar is welded on, you can see that those corners would be really tough to radius with it there. That's why I leave it to the last step. Now it's just a little bit of cleanup and it's ready for powder. With the bumper back from powder, it's time to put those lights in. We're running two different sets of fog lights, ambers and clears, and then also the light bar in there. These are Vivid Lumen. We like their stuff. We find it fits really nice. They build a good product, but anything that you want to put in will work. Now that we've got the bumper temporarily on the truck, we can cut those plastic wheel liners. If you notice the grill is out in the truck, the biggest reason for that is to reach those bolts behind the bumper. For the final install, that grill is going to need to go on first as we can't sneak it past the bull bar. So laser level works really well here when you're trying to cut the wheel well liners. With this, you will need a variety of tools. As you can see, I'm using an angle grinder, a knife. I've used scissors before. The laser level helps the most because this is not a straight surface. It's actually got ups, downs, vents in it. So over time we found the laser level just does the trick. Take your time with it. Again, you can always measure 17, 18 times and, well, you can cut a couple times too as long as you err on the side of caution. So now it's time for the final install on this Coastal Offroad bumper. You see we've got the winch run in there, we have the lights mounted, the bumper on the truck. Now getting that bumper aligned does take a little bit of time, depending on how picky you are. It can take a lot of time. What I recommend is getting even gaps, passenger and driver's side, but make sure there is a gap. You don't want this touching as the bumper and the body will flex differently. If you're curious about how I've wired the winch or the lights, I will do another video on that in the future, but for quick reference, the light bar and inner pod lights are on separate switches, and the outer ambers are tied into the factory fog light switch. It takes time, but if you put in the work and have patience, it'll come out perfect. Thanks for sticking with us for the process to build a Coastal Offroad bumper on a 3rd Gen Tacoma. Some of the stuff we used today were Vivid Lumen lights, Warren winch, and our powder coating was done through Calvert Powder Coating in Vernon, BC. With all prep, fab, and finish work done at over the top racks. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more videos like this.